What's up, Fight fans? Brett Okamoto here from the 5 Rounds podcast. On this week's episode, myself and Brian Campbell got into all of the drama between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Is this fight happening? We also talked to TJ Dillashaw and Dwayne Ludwig. Tune in.
Attention.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show. Dan Le Batard. Everybody, hop aboard the Stugotz.
Attention.
Stugotz.
Listen, there's poop on those shopping carts. Poop.
This is the real base.
He's a prisoner of the moment. He's Stugotz. The thing that happened seconds ago is the biggest thing to have ever happened.
Bass is pumping.
Looking out for you.
You're not looking out for me. You're looking out for you.
That's true.
Looking out for me. Since when?
I got your back, man.
Got my back with a knife. You are like a ninja of nonsense.
Yes.
You're a nonsense ninja.
Yes. You were on to me. Yes.
I mean, you just hit me. You just embedded a Chinese star of nonsense in my forehead.
That's what I do.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on Espn Radio.
Buh.
Le Batard is off today. Mike Golic Jr., Gojo, sitting in with us till 1 o'clock Eastern. A lot to get to today. Darrelle Revis arrested. We'll get into that. NBA All-Star Weekend coming up. Dominique Wilkins going to join us at noon Eastern to discuss that. So we got a lot to get to today, yes?
He was charged, and his attorney is saying
Yes.
that he's going to be turning himself in shortly.
Okay. Let's start over. Darrelle Revis charged, not arrested yet. His attorney said that he's going to turn himself in. NBA All-Star Weekend is upon us. Dominique Wilkins will join us at noon Eastern. Amin Al-Hassan's going to join us 1 hour from now. Adnan Virk going to join us at 12:30 for a segment we like to do when Dan's not here, but you and I love doing it. You will be able to call in and talk about movies, baseball, and Canada with Adnan Virk at 12:30. So there's a lot of stuff to get into. Draymond Green spoke with Mark Stein. We'll play some of those cuts for you in just a second. But we start with steak sauce because Mike Golic Jr. is in today. Mike Golic Jr. is paying off his first ever grid of death punishment. It's something we do during the football season. We pick helmets out of a bucket, and if the helmet you pick loses, then you have to pick something off the grid of death. Mike selected to drink a 10-ounce bottle of A1 steak sauce that he will have to drink between now and the end of the show. And we are all wondering what his strategy is going to be. Now, a real Golic, a true Golic, and we might have to bring a Golic on here, I think would drink the entire thing one shot, no problem. That's what I think. Now, it just dawned on Mike Golic Jr., because he picked up the bottle of steak sauce for the first time, and Mike Ryan, he looks at me, and he says, there's a lot of sauce in here. Yeah, Mike, there's 10 ounces of steak sauce in there, and you have to drink every single drop of it. All of it.
Listen, it's like the pound of feathers, pound of rocks thing. Yeah, they're both a pound, but this feels like a lot more right now. The sauce here, there's some extra weight to this sauce today. And I was just a little shocked.
Right.
A little shocked that I'm getting a recipe for cheddar potato pie on the back. I'm shocked by a lot right now.
Really?
Yeah. Looks pretty great, too.
I'm sure it does. Have you thought about this at all? Because we discussed it during the local hour, and Mike, who was great at peer pressure, he's the best at it. Mike has said things into my headset, and basically what he says is, don't let down the show. Don't embarrass the show. Don't embarrass yourself, and don't embarrass the show. And he has said that to me, and it's resulted in me getting my head shaved. It's resulted in a number of bad things. Mike did the same to you. But now what he is pressing on is what I'm pressing on, where a real Golic, a true Golic man, would open that bottle and drink the entire thing one shot. You could do it however you want. I'm just saying, if you want to make the family proud, you might want to just chug the whole thing like it's a beer. If you want to make Dad proud, if you want to make Dad and Jake proud, and perhaps Mom, this is what you have to do. Because I don't think Sydney cares about anything you do. sitting to your sister. But if you want to make mom and dad happy.
Are you flexing like your Golic family knowledge
Listen,
bone right now?
I spend more.
That's the first time my sister's ever been name dropped in my face.
Well, no, that's. Yes, it is. It is. Yes, I am flexing my Golic family knowledge, and I have spent more time and spoken to the Golics in the last year, I want to say, than my own family. I've spoken to your dad in the last year more times than I've spoken to my dad in the last year. I love the Golic family. I'm like an adopted member of the Golic family. Your mom loves me. Is that fair? Your mom loves me. Is that accurate?
Yeah, she's a big Stugotz fan.
Thank you.
Go, Joe. Is he exaggerating the tiniest bit here? Because it seems as though...
Of course he's exaggerating. He's met my mom once.
10 minutes. Great conversation, though.
Yeah, she wasn't quite as impressed.
Yeah.
It was a little underwhelming on her part, but...
Really?
I'll take part in this.
Because it seemed like when we were in the moment, it seemed like she was really impressed with me. But I read that wrong?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm all for coming down here and keeping up that idea because I am the something on the side. Like I know right now somewhere Dan just feels a pit in his stomach.
Yes.
Knowing that I'm coming down here playing in your guys' bed a little bit.
He has his Pablo. I have my Gojo.
We're happy together, Dan.
Very happy together.
I do things for him.
Oh,
you can't even imagine.
Oh, you have no idea. Dan has never done, nor will he ever do. So how are you going to do this? Mom would tell you to do what?
Mom would probably tell me to pace it a little bit.
Right.
I keep looking at the label.
Yes.
There's a lot of sodium in here.
Yeah.
And
Salt,
these
key ingredient.
Yeah. Do I get to drink water during this?
Yeah, man. The only rule is that you have to finish that bottle by the end of the show. If you want to put it on, you can get a steak if you'd like, but you have to finish all 10 fluid ounces.
Well, wait a second. He can't get a steak. He can't order a steak here from the Clevelander and dip the steak into the steak sauce, right? No, everyone stood up back there. Fat Chris is outraged. Mike, you can't let him do that.
What do you mean I can't let him do it? The rule is finish 10 fluid ounces of steak sauce.
Right, but not with a steak. Fat Chris, what's going on here?
Technically, he can do it, but it's bad for him.
I'd feel even wrong about that one, and I've been mental jujitsu'd as much as anyone can be in this situation from the jump.
Yeah.
Mike Ryan got one over on me.
Yeah.
Very, very easily, too. It did not take a lot of product.
Wasn't hard.
He just basically took the template of do it for the show, don't embarrass the show, and said do it for your family. Do it for the Golic name. Like that's the first. People always ask me, is having your dad be who he is ever been a negative? This is the first time.
Right.
Because it was thrown in my face as don't embarrass your bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to. So instead of wearing a Gumby costume, which worked out really well for you guys because Dan looked great in it.
Yes, he did.
I'm going to drink a bottle of A1 steak sauce and probably have a heart attack after.
Okay. All right. Well, Dad will certainly be proud.
The blood's on Mike Ryan's hands.
How would Dad do it? He would chug it, right?
Oh, yeah, because Dad lives to embarrass you guys. You saw that already.
Yeah.
I don't think you should chug that.
Bad idea.
I think you should, give your body, a recovery time.
Don't pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Billy, he's got to do it.
No, hold on a second.
Has Allison gotten to you?
Hold on a second. I want to hear from Guillermo because he has an attitude towards this. He's upset. What happened here? You're feeling the same thing I'm feeling. Mike Ryan is treating Mike Golic Jr. in a way that he would never treat any of us. He's giving him all kinds of outs and stuff, man.
Listen to me. You do not need us for anything. You don't need to be friends with us. You don't need to do this to yourself. This is completely unnecessary. And by the way, everyone else has a ton of outstanding stuff also, so there's no rush to get any of this done. Don't do it.
This has nothing to do with us.
Billy, Gojo's not here that often.
Right,
This might be his only chance to do it before Sarah Spain institutes some sort of punishment on him.
Right.
Yeah. That is true. I never know. They always say act like you've been there before. I act like I'm never going back. I don't know.
We don't know. This may be his last appearance.
Right now, you're drinking the steak sauce
because the steak sauce might kill him.
Yes. I don't know what I misread Guillermo there. I thought he was fuming over how Mike was treating Gojo, saying he could use it on his steak.
Billy's just hasn't been the same since the Onion. Yeah, it's changed him for the worse. His whole view on the world is warped now post Onion.
For those of you who don't know, Mike, do you have the sound of him biting into a raw onion like it was an apple? Guillermo. He had a grit of death punishment, and he had to eat a raw onion. And I told him to dice it up. I told him to dice that thing up. Dice up the onion, and he He didn't listen to my advice, and he decided to take a bite out of it and eat it like it was an apple. That would have been the perfect time to play the sound.
It was, but I had a USA Today reporter talking about Darrelle Revis, and that would have been kind of odd.
We'll get to Revis in a second here. Anyway,
strange.
I told Guillermo, let's try this again, to dice it up into very small pieces and eat it that way, and Guillermo insisted on eating it like it was an apple.
Oh,
that's the first bite Guillermo took of a raw onion, and then he spent the next 5 days in the hospital.
Yeah, that's the actual sound. That's not some sound effect that I got from like YouTube or something.
It does. It sounds like a fake movie sound.
Oh, my God, man. I think Le Batard threw up after he did that. Did he not?
Well, Billy did.
He threw up before I did it.
Yeah, did he throw up before?
Yeah, Le Batard threw up in the garbage can right next to me.
It set off a chain reaction.
Sympathy vomit?
No, it's just nasty, man.
That's the actual moment that the soul left the body right there. He was changed forever.
I can still taste it when I hear it.
Oh, man.
Just don't do it. You don't need to do this.
Make sure to shake well.
Oh, boy. Are you going for some right now?
I just want a little sit. That got me excited. It got me. It's the first bite right there. I feel like we need the first sip.
Ooh. Here he goes. Here he goes. For those listening on radio, Gojo has sniffed the bottle of A1 steak sauce.
He's decanting it.
He's going in. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's actually really good.
All right.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. He's a Golic.
This can be fun. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll compare rates for you so you get the best deal, even if it's not with us, saving you time and money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today. The NBA's All-Star Weekend.
You just burped some up, didn't you? You just burped some up. I saw you. You almost threw up, Golic. You almost threw up. I saw it, Gojo.
Heartburn.
I got bad acid reflux. I realize now the combination of these two things is not going to end well for anyone involved.
You want me to read that?
Nope. The NBA All-Star Game begins tonight, or All-Star Weekend begins tonight. I'm going to die. Check out the NBA Rising Stars Challenge tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. And now, your SportsCenter update. Jets cornerback Darrelle Revis has been charged with robbery, terroristic threats, conspiracy, and aggravated assault for his alleged involvement in a street altercation that witnesses say left two men unconscious, according to Pittsburgh police. DeMarcus Cousins told ESPN's Ramona Shelburne he intends to sign an extension to stay with the Sacramento Kings. Cousins can sign a 5-year extension worth up to $219 million this summer. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
More than Stu from the Clevelander on ESPN Radio. Dan Le Batard. Thank you, Google. Stugotz.
Thank you, Google.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Catch me and Stugotz every Sunday for weekend observations from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tune in this Sunday for the 66th NBA All-Star Game live from New Orleans. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations.
How you feeling, Gojo?
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Different. A lot different.
You're never going to be the same.
Like, I heard you say that, and I sort of laughed. And I don't want to describe it as, because it's obviously not drunk. But everything inside right now, from like the chest on to the throat, is in a strange place. And I know it's only going to get worse because now we've divvied these up into shot glasses that look like they're full of red mud.
And it doesn't end when you're done with it. Like, you have to live with this for like the next day, 2 days. It's not going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I need to call in advance and apologize to the hotel.
Right. And you're spending the entire weekend down here because you have Charlie Weiss's golf tournament on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
So it's not going to mix well with everything else I put in my body this weekend either.
So are we wrecking your weekend here? Like, because, Mike, I listen, I've known you for a little bit now, okay? I've gotten to know you pretty well. You almost threw up during the Sports Center, okay? You were close, and during the break, you were not your normal self. Like, there was some stuff going on there.
So I've got pretty bad acid reflux to start with.
Right.
This is basically all vinegar, sugar, and about 2,000% of your daily allotment of sodium.
Right.
So none of those things were going to mix well. You can ask any guy I played with to a T, and I spent most of my time basically throwing up. Before games, in a huddle.
Really?
Every guy I played with probably has a story about me vomiting near or around them that they can fall back on. So I'm just giving you guys fair warning right now. We could all get a little closer today.
Well, I'm the closest to you, so it's... You're not going to do an entire shot, are you? Like, you're not going to do a shot. Your dad would be done by now, by the way. He'd be done. Done with them. 2 bottles, probably.
That's probably true. He'd be cracking open a third.
Yeah.
It's a savage.
Yeah. He really is. You're not going to don't do a shot right now, please.
Why not?
All right, do it.
All right.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
There's a little left.
That's bad.
Yeah. You might want to get your finger in there and get all the stuff out. Yeah.
That's a Golic.
That's a Golic.
That's a Golic.
I'm a man.
That's a Golic.
Big, strong man. How about that, Dad?
If drinking something had a sound, because that was nasty, and if you could hear someone drinking something nasty, it would sound like this. I'm not certain it's not worse than the onion that Guillermo ate.
His reaction's certainly a lot more positive than Guillermo's was after the first couple of bites.
Yeah.
I feel like Guillermo's outward reaction is the internal war that's happening in my body right now.
That's so funny. Mike, we were discussing a little bit transition from you doing shots of steak sauce to Darrelle Revis.
I'm ready to see how you pull this one off.
I'm not. I'm just going to go straight to Darrelle Revis. We were talking during the break, and I know you're interested in the story, and for those of you who are not familiar with the story, Darrelle Revis has been charged with 4 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor count. This happened on Sunday. I'm wondering how it took so long for us to find out about it, but here we are. And as Mike said in the first segment, it looks like Darrelle Revis is going to turn himself into authorities. And the story is, I think Sunday morning, 2:35-ish in the morning, some guys approached Darrelle Revis with a phone in their hands and were asking him if he's Darrelle Revis and videotaping Darrelle Revis. And according to the attorney, Darrelle Revis thought for a second that it was perhaps a weapon. Took the phone, threw it in the street. Both guys were knocked out. What are your thoughts on this entire thing? Because I think you're probably going to lean towards Darrelle Revis is entitled to some level of privacy, even if he's just walking around the streets. And I would tell you that being a star of Darrelle Revis' magnitude, part of being a star comes with people coming up to you at any point in the day. It doesn't have to be 2:35 in the morning, asking, hey, is that Darrelle Revis? They might want to take a picture. They might want to shoot a video. That comes with being a celebrity.
It does. So there's kind of 2 conversations here, because there's that general one about just the way we treat celebrity in general and what you're expected to deal with based on the platform you're afforded and how much money you make. Because for most people, all of these things, whether it's the Charles Oakley situation, whether it's other instances that pop up like this, they usually can't look past the paycheck. Like, this is something you're just expected to deal with. Then the other aspect of it is actually where and how this happened, because where he was on the south side of Pittsburgh, while that's the night scene there in Pittsburgh and like a great place to go out, it's where a lot of young people do go out, there are parts of the areas that are really tough areas. Like when I was, so my rookie year, I went to camp with the Steelers. I was there in the offseason program. Mike Adams, a year older than I was, had been with the Steelers for a year already.
Right.
That offseason, when I got there, was the offseason that Mike Adams got stabbed over on the south side in the stomach multiple times in a situation that when you hear this sounded pretty similar. Like a bunch of guys walked up on him on a road that's just off that main street back there over on the south side, right by his truck, asked if it was his truck or who he was, and then fast forward a few hours later, he's in the hospital nursing stab wounds. So there's part of that knowing the setting out there and knowing kind of how you have to walk around, especially being someone high profile who's going to be a target.
And by the way, Revis knows he's from that area.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Went to college at Pitt. He understands perfectly the setup over on the south side. So the guys know that. And so there's part of that for me is hard to look past too, is okay, self-defense is going to be something that probably gets talked about in this a fair amount. And I think there's a lot of credence to it. We say it kind of, I bring up the Charles Oakley thing again because we kind of have to preface it with, of course, putting your hands on someone else that way isn't the appropriate response.
Right.
But in that situation, it's hard to really get out of that mindset when you know you kind of have to be ready for whatever could happen over there. And when someone rolls up on you and putting a camera on your face, walking up, asking if you're Revis, following him around with that.
Let's agree on this because I'm with you, okay? So I said on the, one of the things I said as I'm setting up the story is, videotaping, fans coming up to you, that stuff happens. It comes with celebrity. This didn't happen in an airport. It didn't happen in a public setting. This is happening at 2:35 in the morning. And with that being said, if Darrelle Revis or any celebrity or any person feels threatened, I have no issue with him defending himself, of course. Now, if it's just Darrelle Revis was in a bad mood and didn't like the fact that a couple of fans were videotaping him and decided to do what he did, then that's a different story. But if he felt threatened and he wasn't certain if it was a phone or a weapon, I'm totally fine with Darrelle Revis defending himself, if indeed that is the case. Anyone should be entitled to defend themselves. Again, it's not an airport. It's not daylight hours. It's 2:35 in the morning. And Darrelle Revis knows that area and knows it very well. So I think you make some pretty good points there.
Yeah, it's really interesting to look at because the videotaping is something that everyone at some point, even now with as popular as TMZ's made that style of reporting.
Yeah.
You go out with that assumption that, there's always a camera there, but there's a difference when you're confronted with it the way he was and in the area he was.
Do people, that's had to happen to you before, right?
Oh, yeah. It's actually like a really similar situation to that when I was in college at the end of the night because part of this is Darrelle Revis took his phone away and tried to delete the video.
Right.
At the end of the night in college, it was...
Because you went to Notre Dame, you played football. You play football at Notre Dame. Within that circle, within the Notre Dame circle, you're as big a celebrity as Darrelle Revis is to the entire country right now, right?
And
you're a big celebrity in college.
And given the year, like that was the year we went 12-0. So
right.
There was a lot of hype around the team in general, but you come back after a night out and someone found their way into a place that we were, and it's not like anything was going on.
I want to hit pause right there. Are you about to tell a story where someone came in and tried to videotape you and some Notre Dame football players?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it next.
Stugotz wants a new boat. Time for some more ads.
Can't wait to see if you wreck this guy.
Wreck something.
He wrecked something. That's a tease. Upside.com. Discover the best new way for you to buy travel. It's called Upside.com. Upside bundles your flight and hotel together for one low price. We've been telling you about this for a while, guys. You're going to love it. Here's what I'm telling you to do. Just book your travel and hotel the traditional way. Do it. Don't confirm it. Just book it and see how much it costs. Then go to Upside, where you can bundle them together, the travel and the hotel, and see how much it costs at Upside. And then make the choice. Because I promise you, because I've done it for a trip I'm taking to Chicago this summer, that you are going to save a ton of money. And if you're a frequent business traveler, your company saves lots of money, and you can get thousands in gift cards just for buying your air and hotel together at Upside.com. Use the name Dan, and you are guaranteed to get at least a $200 Amazon gift card on your first trip. Now, you're going to get an Amazon gift card every trip you book. But on your first trip, if you use the code Dan, you're going to get a $200 Amazon gift card. Guys, save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You're going to love Upside.com. Check them out today. It's Upside.com.
You're listening to the titillating Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio. Dan Le Batard,
America's fastest growing sports show.
Stugotz.
Because when you start from zero and you have one viewer, You're growing fast.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline for the best total engine protection you can get. And now your SportsCenter update. The Jets cornerback Darrelle Revis has been charged with robbery, terroristic threats, conspiracy, and aggravated assault for his alleged involvement in a street altercation that witnesses say left 2 men unconscious, according to Pittsburgh police. DeMarcus Cousins told ESPN's Ramona Shelburne he intends to sign extension to stay with the Sacramento Kings. Cousins can sign a 5-year extension worth up to $219 million this summer. And finally, the Roots will perform an original NBA-themed musical with special guests before the All-Star game. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
He's struggling, people. The struggle is real. He is hurting.
Ooh.
He's got, I would say, 3 full shots left of steak sauce. And Mike, you got to space these out. I'm telling you, because we can all sense that you're struggling a bit.
I've realized pace is going to matter here, because if I kept going at the clip I was at, you were probably going to be doing the show alone.
Yeah, so space them out, because I don't want to do that. I mean, I can do it, and I have done it. It's not very good, and it's terribly lonely, and I'm sad doing it.
Well, listen, and I've got plans for the rest of the weekend in Miami, so I want to be able to get to those.
We're going to get to I want this story from your days at Notre Dame in just a second. But, Mike, we were talking during the break. You heard Steve Kerr say that Draymond Green, and Draymond has lent his voice to it as well, that he's going to be the icebreaker in the West locker room during All-Star weekend, because you have this tension between Westbrook and Durant. And Steve Kerr said, Draymond will just walk in, he'll say something funny, and he'll mend the fences, and they'll move forward, and we're all on the same team this weekend. And Draymond said, I look forward to doing it. Whatever it is he's going to do. And you can imagine what Draymond's going to do when he walks into that locker room, thinking that with 2 sentences, he can undo everything that Durant did to Russell Westbrook.
He's so going to make things worse.
Well, not only that, I can't think of anyone in the NBA who would bother Russell Westbrook more than Draymond Green. Like, Russ wants nothing to do with that. He doesn't want to make up with Kevin Durant this weekend, and he certainly doesn't want Draymond Green serving as a bridge to them making up. Like, Draymond Green's annoying, dude. And Russell Westbrook, I don't think, that just doesn't seem like a personality type that Russell Westbrook would want to hang out with Draymond Green. So Draymond's going to kind of swagger into the locker room thinking he has all the answers, and he's going to try to get Durant and Westbrook together, and I think Westbrook's going to look at him like, man, the hell out of here.
Well, because they're personality-wise, they might show it in different ways, but they're really the same person, right? Like, Draymond Green is, if you gave all of Russell Westbrook's antics and outfits and subtle shade a voice, it would become Draymond Green. So you put them together in a room, and of course they're going to butt heads. That's where we need the camera, by the way.
Here's where they're different, though, Joe. Draymond thinks he's funny.
Right.
Russell Westbrook he doesn't think he's funny. He's not trying to be funny.
You don't think Russell Westbrook thinks he's funny with all the pregame outfits?
No.
He thinks that's fresh.
I think he thinks, right. He's making fashion statements. I think he thinks it looks good.
See, I thought he was trolling with that outfit.
No, and more importantly, he doesn't care if other people find him funny. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. Draymond wants everybody to think, he's Draymond. Right. He's a trip. He's funny.
There's wacky Draymond over there.
Draymond.
Right. And Russell Westbrook is as serious, at least. I mean, we don't know any of these guys, but he comes off as a guy who looks really, really serious and wants nothing to do with Draymond Green's antics. And Draymond Green, the audacity of Steve Kerr and Draymond Green to think that over All-Star Weekend, those two can mend the fences between Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. I mean, the audacity on those two. First off, did it ever dawn on Draymond Green and Steve Kerr that Russell Westbrook doesn't want to make up with Kevin Durant? And Draymond Green is not the guy to do it. If someone's going to do it, it should be Kevin Durant. Hey, Draymond Green. I mean, I think Russ is... No, that's not going to end well.
No, and that's why I want the camera there, because everyone's trying to build up the 4+1 headline of what's it going to look like if Steve Kerr puts the Warriors 4 out there with Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
I have news for you. Nothing is going to happen in the game that's going to be that interesting with that lineup on the floor. Put the camera in the locker room when Draymond's trying to go there and do this nonsense.
I would love that.
No, it's got to be Kawhi Leonard. Oh, yeah. That needs to be the bridge. Hey, man, we're trying to win the game. We're all here to have fun. Like, that's the presence.
Just kind of mutters under his breath. Yeah, guys, come on. Like, put
serious,
it for a weekend. Just put it aside. Let's go. We're on the same team. Let's go.
Kawhi needs to be that guy.
Kawhi needs to be that guy. Yeah, I think you're right. This is a big mistake.
Like he'll just look in their eyes.
That's the thing. It's just a stare in each direction, and then they both kind of nod and shake hands.
Yeah. Right. This could end poorly for Draymond Green, and the Warriors' chances of winning a title. Roy, you're agreeing with me, right? Yes, this is not going to end well. If Draymond Green is going to be wacky Draymond Green in an attempt to bring those two together, it's not going to end well for Draymond Green.
Think he broadcast this on the Uninterrupted?
Plus, there's a room full of Western Conference All-Stars in there that kind of like that they don't like each other and don't want the Warriors to be friendly with everybody. So I think DeAndre Jordan and DeMarcus Cousins are just going to be there poking them the entire time.
Yeah.
Man, can you believe all this stuff? You wouldn't believe what Draymond said about you, Russ.
I didn't want to be the one to tell you.
Right.
It's crazy. Talking wild, disrespectful.
Do you think Westbrook wants to play with the 4 Warriors? I think he wants nothing to do with it.
No way.
I wouldn't be surprised if Westbrook has already told Steve Kerr, I better not be the 5th guy in with those other 4. It's not me. I ain't going in with them. I hope Westbrook doesn't go in. I hope he's asked to go in and he tells Steve Kerr to beat it.
I want to see the situation in which there's an inbounds for whatever reason. I know he's a point guard, but he's taking the ball out of bounds and Kevin Durant's just right in front of him, and he'll launch a full court pass to avoid passing it to Kevin Durant.
Brings the ball up the court, just looks around at everyone, drives straight at the basket,
blocks a Durant shot.
What if there's a 2-on-1 situation, fast break, and Westbrook has a chance to just lob one up to KD? What do you think's going to happen there?
He does. No, man. He beams it at him. Pump fakes a lob. That's a great idea.
Yes.
You go up. He pump fakes, and then he just goes up with the other hand.
So he pump fakes the lob to Kevin Durant to make Kevin Durant go up for a ball that's not really there and make him look silly, and Westbrook just lays it in with the other hand.
Then you go up and dunk on KD.
Yeah, I love this.
Ooh, he sets him up just to dunk on him.
Yes.
Oh. That's what the world needs.
We're tuning into this game on Sunday. It's Sunday, right? We're tuning in to see the interactions between Westbrook and Durant. That's it. That's the only reason to tune in this year. It's got some intrigue this year.
To see them on the court together.
Yes.
And also, there's an element of, seeing him, Harden, and Durant all together again, too.
Right. I don't think he wants to be on the floor with Durant at all. At all. At any point.
If we're being serious about, the true icebreaker guy, it should be Harden, right?
Yeah, it should be Harden, yes.
The I did it first guy?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, Harden's got to bring them together. I think Mike's right on that. All right, we'll get to Gojo's story next.
You're listening to the sensational Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, designed to keep up with you no matter what you're doing. Wrangler, be comfortable.
Dan Le Batard.
Stugotz is a liar.
What happened?
Stugotz.
Well, we know this about you. It's not what happened. It's a statement of fact. You're someone who lies so much that you can be correctly identified as a liar. Yes, I don't. Did you even dispute that?
No, I don't.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get in touch with us through the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed at Le Batard Show at Stugotz790. You know it's always in season, surprising a friend or a loved one with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers has amazing offers on bouquets starting at just $29.99. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN.
Amin Al-Hassan going to join us in about 12 minutes. Talk some NBA with him. Dominique Wilkins at noon Eastern. Adnan Virk at 12:30. We were having an interesting dunk competition discussion during the break, and we will get to that. We'll share it with you because I do find it fun, funny, and fascinating. But I want to get to the story here because we were talking about Darrelle Revis and talking about, being a celebrity and some of the stuff that comes with being a celebrity, having yourself videotape, people asking, hey, are you Darrelle Revis? Hey, can I have your autograph? Hey, can I take a picture with you? The incident that happened with Revis, and again, he has been charged with 4 felony counts, 1 misdemeanor count, and it looks like he's going to turn himself in to authorities. We were talking about whether or not, as a celebrity, if you just, at all times, at all costs, that's what comes with it. You just have to deal with it. And you and I both agree, 2:35 in the morning, if you feel threatened, if you're not certain if it's a phone or a weapon, you're entitled, like anyone, celebrity or not, to defend yourself. We still need to see more facts, obviously, as it relates to this story. We don't know enough yet. But you were about to tell us a story of something, I guess, similar that happened when you were at college at Notre Dame?
Well, it's just the idea that someone at that point in the night, when they're running up on you trying to videotape you, you never understand what the intent is, right?
Right.
Like, you don't know why he's coming up and making a point of that, especially after he asks, are you Darrelle Revis? And then he pulls the camera out and follows him around with it. And so I had a situation like that in college. A guy that we didn't know followed me and a group of my friends, somehow wound up, it was the end of the night, wound up back at our apartment, and we were sitting around having a few cocktails, and we look over and see this kid just videotaping all of us. Right, look, I asked, I was like, do you know him? Do you know him? No one has any idea who this kid is.
Wait, so this kid, so you guys go out for a night, you come back to your apartment, and there's a kid in the apartment that none of you are familiar with?
Everyone kind of thought it was a friend of a friend. Like,
so he was just tagging along, kind of blending in.
We came back with a large enough group to where you just looked and assumed that it was a friend of somebody else in the group.
Okay, so you're in your apartment and he's videotaping what's going on.
And he's videotaping. So we all of a sudden we look up and we look and go, hey, who do you know? And he gives us some name and we run it by him. No one buys it. And we realize, what are you doing? And we look and take it. Same thing, Darrelle Revis did, take his phone, look at it, and see that he had a couple of videos on there from inside of the house. And again, at that point in the night, it wasn't like there was anything wrong even going on in there. It was a bunch of college kids having a drink after a night out.
Sure.
But you never know what someone's going to twist that and do. So we did the responsible thing and shattered his phone in the middle of the street and then threw it in a lake behind our house.
I think that's fair.
Again, it's one of those moments, probably not the right response, but knowing that point in the night, decision-making is not great, but at the same time, you don't know why someone feels the need to, in that moment, come into a private space of yours and try and do something like that. And while this is a public space with Darrelle Revis, it was the same basic principle. He didn't want someone up there taking a video of him. I'm sure at 2:30 in the morning down on the south side, we probably know what his night looked like before that.
Right. I love the fact that this kid, I mean, Mike, do you love this? I love the fact that this kid just tried to tag along into a big group of Notre Dame football players and get himself back to the house late night for drinks.
No, I don't love it. Like,
that's what I would have done.
Honestly, smashing the phone seemed to be him getting off easy. If the guy's intruding in a home, you're trespassing.
There's two sides to this. I agree with what Gojo did and his friends did, and I'm also telling you, I'm the guy who would do that if I went to a school like that. Like, I would act like I'm part of the Michigan football team and go back to a fraternity house late night and just start taking pictures of everyone.
Yeah, but you got to quit while you're ahead.
I guess.
Be there and okay, I have the experience. Oh, we were just having a good time. I'm sorry, I must have misread. I thought you said come on back, but you start filming stuff you're a creep.
I love the visual, though, of you guys hey, is he with you? Is he with you? No one knew him?
That slow realization around the room that, all right, we got an outsider in here.
Right. Who broke the phone? Was it you or Kyle Rudolph?
I'm not going to confirm or deny any names.
Manti Te'o?
He was busy with his girlfriend, man.
I was waiting for someone to get there. Knew I could count on you guys.
He was back at the dorm with his girlfriend.
And she broke the phone.
It was Rudolph, wasn't it?
That was Lene Kakua.
She got a hell of an arm. A lot of force behind that. Always knew we could count on her.
Did you think about punching him in the face?
I did right after I broke the phone.
Amin El Hassan up next.
Doesn't get any better than the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Hey, baseball fans, this is Buster Olney. Mark your calendars because the daily edition of the Baseball Tonight podcast returns on Tuesday, February 21st. Make sure you subscribe to the show now in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost a sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
The NBA All-Star Game this Sunday.
Here's Curry behind the back, half-court heave on its way, and he hits it!
Coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.